Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, August 1st, 2018. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front over there in Asia, Nikkei's up a little bit, but Shanghai, lower. In bear territory, solid. Not having a good time over there in China. Hang Seng down a bit as well. Over there in Europe, everything's down. Here in the States, bloop. Dow down, NASDAQ up a little bit. Oil, bada boom. Gold, bop. And Bitcoin, bloop. All down. Dow and S&P 500 fall on trade worries. Yep. Every day they give one stupid example as to why the markets go up and down. Hey, what was it yesterday? Dow rises more than 100 points to close out best months for stocks since January, after reports said the U.S. and China was seeking talks to defuse an escalating trade conflict between the two countries. So one day everything changed, and then when the markets went down a couple of days ago, they blamed it on those fangs, losing some of that bite, a couple of them anyway. Markets move on more reasons than that. So where are markets going? What does the future look like? Read your new Trend Alert, your Trend Alert. History before it happens. Tariffs and techs won't sink markets. These three will. That's right. We tell you what's going to sink the markets. And interest rates is one of them. And the Fed met today. And that's one of the reasons why gold prices went down, because they're looking to raise rates more aggressively. And those rates are going to have a big number of implications on a number of issues that are already forming as the current events are taking place right now. Look at the data fresh out today. Housing demand sees biggest drop in more than 2 years. Housing demand fell 9.6% in June. The number of people requesting home tours fell 6.1%. Want more interest rate news? Higher rates go. Weekly mortgage applications to buy a home hit the lowest level in a month as rates continue to rise. Want more proof? Major automakers report drop in U.S. vehicle sales for July, except Fiat Chrysler. And U.S. new vehicle sales rose in the first half of 2018. And one of the reasons is that U.S. consumers have been shifting rapidly away from traditional passenger cars in favor of larger, more comfortable SUVs and pickups. What's going to happen when oil prices go up? And, with the obesity rates in America, maybe a lot of people can't fit in these regular cars and they want more room, which is, I believe, one of the reasons why they're going up. So, what happened to gold again? Well, gold went down because interest rates went up. And what's going to happen when interest rates continue to go up? Let's take a look. Bank of Japan bucks central bank trend to stick with extremely low rates, reinforcing its commitment to the policy. The Bank of Japan introduced a forward guidance for rates, saying that the extremely low levels would remain, quote, for an extended period of time. The bank repeated its pledge to continue to purchase bonds so that the 10-year yields remain at around 0%. What a scam. And all of this still, year after year, cannot boost the markets. They're looking now not to raise interest rates till 2020. And it's one story after another. Eurozone grows at weakest rate in 2 years. What's going to happen when rates go up? So going back to gold, we believe gold is near its bottom. That was our forecast a long time ago, around 1,200. It's hovering around that point. Another $20 or so to go down. 20, 40, 50, around that max. As we see it, we do not give financial advice. We're trend forecasters. going back to the rising interest rates. The world can't take it, and guess what? The United States can't either. You're looking at the data coming out. Slow down in real estate. That's your key signal. And the other one, of course, is when the world is slowing down, as Eurozone grows at its weakest rate in 2 years, as China's long march towards an open economy stumbles, as China has been struck by economic headwinds. Ah, yes, economic headwinds. That's right. The emerging markets cannot take rising interest rates. No one can. And if there's a war breaking out, oil prices are down today because of more supply and bigger buildups than anticipated. So they're down significantly, but not that low. If oil prices spike above $80 a barrel, and all of these currencies keep getting weaker as the dollar gets stronger, and they're reliant on importing foreign oil, guess what? Global slowdown, big time. We're coming out with a forecast. The next economic crisis, we're going to give you a pinpoint date. It will be in your next Trends Journal coming out soon, your August Trends Journal. And moving on. Now, speaking of China, length of high-speed railway lines in China increases to 25,000 kilometers in 10 years. That's right, it went from 0 to 10 to 15,500 miles. And look what we got in the United States. Subway crap, Amtrak joke, and the morons up here in Ulster County, New York, are ripping up the old rail rather than streamlining it. And you know why? Because they're politicians. They're stupid jerks, when you Google up the definition, that are manipulative and devious, typically to gain advancement within an organization, and brains smaller than a pea. The same people you hated in high school and college that wanted to be class president and head of the student council. But we believe there's going to be Trump's new plan to rebuild the infrastructure. And it's going to be one that only we are forecasting. It's based on one big element: bringing home the troops from Afghanistan. We see a peace plan coming up. We see him bringing home the troops from South Korea, closing the bases in a number of countries where they're not needed, and putting the troops to work to rebuild our rotted infrastructure. A Troops Progress Administration plan similar to the WPA, the Work Progress Administration plan in the 1930s. We are the only ones calling this. And it's two elements of our Occupy Peace program. Number one, close the bases overseas, honor the founding fathers, beginning with George Washington, no foreign entanglements. Number two, bring home the troops, secure the homeland, and put them to work rebuilding our rotted infrastructure. As China's economy is going down, they're still building the nation up. While America's economy goes down, all we keep doing is building the defense budget bigger. Lane closures to add to consumer woes. Motorists who commute into New York City through the Lincoln Tunnel have less than 3 weeks before their trip will get a lot more stressful. In other words, it sucks now, it's going to be hell soon. You ready for this? Starting on August 17th and lasting for more than 2 years, one lane will be closed in each direction. What, you got 2 lanes in each direction? If this was China, they'd fix this in 2 months. But because everything is so corrupt in America with the politicians and the people that pay them off, that imbeciles call campaign contributions, but bribes and payoffs, the contracts go to their buddies, they stretch it out, and their buddies get rich, and the politicians get the money they need to get reelected. Honda gets a boost from its motorcycles. The bulk of motorcycles are sold in poor nations, but they're very profitable. Yep. Guess what? As I said, the Harley days are over in America, and the people are going to trucks and SUVs. They don't ride motorcycles. They're not in the shape to do it. And what else do we have here? Spain's opposition leader raises immigration fears. Another one. Trump hails Italy's actions on immigration. This is your major story of 2019. It's going to continue to be a top trend. And again, going back to what we forecast, Trump bringing peace to Afghanistan and a treaty with North Korea, it's going to boost the Republicans' opportunity for a good midterm election if they follow through as we forecast. This is the stupidity of American media. That's why I read a lot of foreign press. This is the front page of the Wall Street Journal. And again, let's look at the front page of the Financial Times. Look at the difference. Do I give a damn that Trump sways Kelly to stay? And this big stupid photo, what the hell do I care? How does that put knowledge in my brain? You know why it doesn't put knowledge in my brain? Because I'm not a prostitute. Prostitutes get paid to put out. We put out news and information to make you have information that will help you prepare for the future, avoid the dangers, and seize the opportunities. More propaganda. Struggling Iranians see lifeline in Trump's offer. Whole big story. Struggling, they know, the New York Times knows this. But anyway, moving on with Russia. Russia says Iranian forces pulled back from Golan Heights in Syria, but Israel is unsatisfied. That's right. Iranian forces have withdrawn their heavy weapons in Syria to a distance of 85 kilometers from the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. But Israel deemed the pullback inadequate. Well, of course they did. It's their Golan Heights. It's occupied territory. Oh, I think God gave them the occupied territory too. Yeah, it's right there in the Bible. God was a real estate agent, and the Bible is the land deed. What arrogance. An occupying force. Hey, it's okay for the United States and NATO to go on the Russian border, but don't allow Iran and Syria 53 miles away from Syrian land, the Golan Heights, that Israel stole after the war in 1967. Folks, check this out. Israel insists that forces controlled by Iran exit Syria entirely now that the civil war there is ending. What right do they have to say what they should do? Oh, I forgot. They could do anything they want, like passing that wonderful nation-state law. Story here in the toilet paper record. Blood brothers with Jews. Jews call Israel's law a betrayal. And that's that nation-state law declaring Israel, quote, the nation-state of the Jewish people, unique, the law is, quote, unique to the Jewish people. It prioritizes Jewish building and downgrades Arabic from an official language alongside Hebrew to one with a special status. So the Jews get drafted, and they've been fighting and dying. And now they feel betrayed. Israel is nothing more than an apartheid state. Jewish communities, it's right here, not my language, in quotes by the New York Times, the nation state of the Jewish people built on a national self-determination, quote, unique to the Jewish people. In other words, everybody else is a second-class citizen. There you go. Where's the movements against this? So there we have it. That's some of our August 1st trends in the news. And don't forget, on August 18th, I'll be in Washington, D.C. That's right, as a speaker. I'm so honored at Ron Paul's Peace and Prosperity Conference. So go to his website, Ron Paul's website, Peace and Prosperity, his Liberty website. Look up the information. Love to see you in D.C. on August 18th. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends.